yet another episode of the Ugandan Podcast. I am Rita Kanyamujuni, and this is proudly brought to you by the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance. Now, for the past 3 weeks, we have done something different when it came to the Ugandan Podcast. We've been highlighting different women in different areas of tech. We've taken a look at women in the ministry itself of ICT and National Guidance. We've taken a look at a content creator, what the world has to offer there, but also we've taken a look at a woman in fintech. Now, today we're going to be taking a look and having a conversation with a lady who is a tech evangelist. First time I'm using that term, I got to know it as I prepared for this episode. Isabel Odida, welcome to the Ugandan Podcast. Isabel is a peering manager at Gcore. Welcome.
Thank you, Rita.
Isabel, when we talk about a tech evangelist, I know of someone who's very passionate about tech.
Mm-hmm.
But as a child, is this the place that you saw yourself coming into? What were your dreams when it came to career?
So as a child, I think the advantage for me was the fact that I had older siblings who had already ventured into tech. And I think I remember my dad getting his first laptop. And obviously in school we had like computer class, and in computer class we only did DOS. I think most of you guys remember DOS. The Gen Zs, I'm sure, I don't know what that means.
You lost them right there.
So yeah, and I was fascinated at the fact that the click of something, triggered emotion, or it triggered something to, maybe a page to open, the click of something either meant to copy or to paste kind of thing. And also I had a terrible handwriting. So I was so fascinated by the idea that I don't have to like handwrite anything anymore.
No one has to see that handwriting. Makes two of us.
Exactly. So yeah, what we could do with tech, what we could achieve with it, fascinated me. I think I was about 9 or 10 years old. So yeah, that's when I first figured, okay, I think this is the path I want to take. While my friends were talking about, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a doctor, the usual, what do you want to be when you grow up? For me, I never had any answer like that. The only other answer I had besides wanting to be in tech, I was a tall child, and so I thought it shouldn't go to West. So I say to my mom then that besides whatever professional, whatever professional role I took on, I'd wanted to have added being a model, as part of whatever I chose to do.
Yeah.
And so she got me into modeling classes, go do catwalking classes. She got me gigs where I would like model for like some brands. I think my very first one was Tinga Tinga. I don't know if anyone remember Tinga Tinga.
Remember it, but we will.
Do you guys do?
We will not talk. We will not reveal how old we are through this.
Yeah. But yes. So besides that was one of the things I didn't do. But as time went on, I stopped growing taller, so I abandoned that plan. And I stuck to tech, and so here we are.
So you have this idea that my career has to be in tech, then you go ahead and study. What did you study?
Surprisingly, I didn't do tech for my A-levels. I did science courses for my O-levels. I stuck to it, but then I wasn't happy with my performance at the end of it. So I decided to do an arts. But I say that will not be a showstopper for me. When I was done with that, I still went and had a chat with my dad. And I said to him, I still want to do tech. I know I didn't do it for high school, but I still want to do tech. Luckily enough, my career was taking on, had started an IT department. And it didn't matter whether you had been in a science were there courses in
combination? If you had done the science combination,
So it didn't matter if you had or not. And so I applied at Gcore. I also applied at 2 other universities. And also the beauty about international universities as well, which was one of the ones I had applied to, they also didn't really care for whether you'd come from a science background or not. And also to prepare me, I did a couple of, certificates and diplomas while we waited for uni to start. So while everybody had their usual vacation, let's go on holiday,
Chill.
I had already started preparing myself for tech. I got enrolled in classes by my siblings and my dad. And when uni started, I was full and ready for it as well. And the advantage of it is when I went to uni, I felt like I was ahead of most of the guys in my class because I'd already learned some of the things that we were learning. Yeah.
And you were just shining and excelling at it.
Listen, yeah. So I actually ended up doing 2 courses at the same time.
How?
Before uni started, I had started doing was going to Uptech, and I had enrolled for the software engineering course, which I seemed to be enjoying, and I didn't want to cut it short because uni had started, so I decided I can do both. I mean, I don't have any other time. School. It's 3 years for both. It's very doable, so why not do it? So I did one during the day, one in the evening, and then I finished all of them at the same time.
Must have been a very hectic 3 years, but in those 2 classes that you were going to, what was the ratio of female to male at that time in terms of?
So the one I did at Uptech, we were about 4 ladies in the class. I was the youngest. I think the other ladies in the class were trying to venture into tech. I think it's around the same time when people had started saying you need to have some sort of tech background to excel in your career kind of thing. So we were 4 in our class and the rest were gentlemen. In my course at the university, I liked that they were quite a number of ladies. It was nice. I liked it.
So you got the different worlds.
Yes.
One, there were few female. On the other side, there were ladies who were ready to grab onto it and go.
So I was happy about that.
Yeah.
But then it ended there when I started working. Yeah.
And that, now when you started working, that's till today, that's 13 years of experience in the tech world, having gone through different companies. But I believe that the experiences have almost been similar or they have differed depending on where you have been. But we're getting into what it's like for a female when it comes to the tech industry and the tech workplace.
So I could say I've been lucky. I've been blessed. The very first team I joined when I started working, I think there were 6 or 7 gentlemen, and still as the youngest on the team as well. And I liked that I won't say babied me, but they nurtured me. They nurtured me. Everybody was willing to help in their own capacities, and where they couldn't help, they would look for somebody to come and help. I remember also sitting with my manager then when I just joined, because I was joining a team that was going to work on systems that were fully Unix based. Rita,
Explain.
Unix is an operating system.
Okay. Those are things that you
Linux
just
or
need to explain.
Unix.
Okay. I've heard of that.
I'm sure you've heard of Ubuntu.
Yes.
Yeah, you've heard of Red Hat.
No, but
You've
I've now
CentOS.
heard of it. Yeah.
Yes. So those are different flavors of Linux and Unix. So because the servers or the nodes that I was going to be taking care of were all going to be on a Unix platform. So we sat down together. I didn't have that much experience on Unix. So we sat down when I got my laptop. He said, we're going to remove that Windows off your machine. We're going to scrape it off. I said, okay. So let's install. So we installed FreeBSD, which is one of the hardest and most difficult distributions of Unix, if you ask anybody. Okay, well, in my opinion, I have some friends who like it, but and I do not. So we sat down, we used it. He said, you're going to learn how to use it. You're going to make yourself comfortable with it. If you want to Google, I'll show you how to Google on the terminal. This is a black screen, guys. No GUI whatsoever. So we did that for a week. Then the following week, he then said, now let's install something a little bit simpler, but we still installed a server on my laptop. This time we installed Ubuntu. And when we installed Ubuntu, we did the same thing, got me comfortable with it. The reason was because, when you're troubleshooting, you want to not spend so much time in trying to figure out easy commands. So when I got comfortable with it, and he said, now we will build your desktop from scratch. So we built my desktop from scratch off the server. We customized it. And then because I needed to get access to that entire, all the systems within the organization. We then installed a virtual machine. I'm sorry, I'm getting too technical.
No, please, get as technical as possible. Because that's the whole point. One of the things that people have a hard time with is that when you start speaking tech, you lose us. But we also want to learn a thing or two. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. So we installed a virtual machine onto that onto my desktop, and that's where we installed our Windows. So for everything I needed to access within the company that was on the company servers, I could access using my VirtualBox. But most of the time, I would have to use my Ubuntu to do everything, to access the servers that I had to work on, to access the different platforms that we had to work on. And I was very appreciative of that.
Yeah.
Most people will get into a workplace because and they don't get to experience that. So I was very happy about it. I actually recently met him and I said to him, thank you for the foundation that you created for me. So the entire team was amazing. When I would be sad at work, we had a resident DJ who'd play for me my favorite song to cheer me up. And so yes. You know how you join a new, when you join a new team or you join a new company, if it's a hard start for you, it could either make you or break you.
Yeah.
And I like that I didn't get to experience that. And, when you're younger as well, the breaking can be really bad and it's very hard for you to get out of it. So I was very happy. I've been very fortunate
push
about
you
that.
to the other side of it.
Yeah. So I'm very happy I got that experience. All the training I needed as well, that send me off to get all that training I needed as well. So yeah.
I like that you say that you were lucky. But it's just how things played out.
Yeah.
It was just your road and that's how you were supposed to go down it. But I know that you have engaged with women who have had it different for them.
Yeah.
What are the few things that they tell you? Because why I ask is that you speak to empowering the young mind.
Yeah.
And they must have said a thing or two as you empower those minds. Either some have sort of brought that mind down, like you said, if it's not good for you, sometimes it's bad and it breaks you. Yeah.
So this was something I witnessed. I was conducting interviews. It was the very first time I was going to be someone's supervisor. Someone was going to report to me. And I had just been promoted. It was my first promotion ever. And some of the interviewees were ladies. There was a lady on the team. And not on the team, sorry, among the interviewees. Yeah. So I was told to concentrate more on the guys, especially the guys that are young, not necessarily married, but mostly on the guys. The women, not so much. And if it's a mother, it will be a bit hard because we worked on services that had to be available 24/7. And sometimes you'd get called into work like in the wee hours of the night. And they were not so sure if she would be able to do that. And I remember while we conducted the interview, I think she could tell that it wasn't going well for her. And I think she teared a little while we had the interview. And it made me sad in a way. somehow I hoped that she would be the best candidate, but this time I was looking for merit. And I wanted whoever took the role to get it on merit. Unfortunately, she didn't get the role, but I felt so sad that I think she wasn't made that comfortable while we were having the interviews, and and I didn't do much about it then. But when I came back and I reflected on it, and I thought, okay, maybe I would have been stubborn about it. I would have insisted and said, let's still take her. We are there's so many guys within our section. It would be nice to have a lady as well besides myself. Let's find a way of like getting her ready and grooming her and making sure that she excels as well. So this is me, I think 2 years out of uni. Yeah. And I didn't know better then. Yeah. But when I think about it, I was like, I could have done that. Yeah. But I'm glad I got to make up for it, in the future as well. Yeah. I've also seen some ladies who maybe are not considered for promotions as well because maybe they think their mother's already, or maybe she's pregnant. She won't have much time to concentrate on her role in leading and guiding people. And so my take usually is having a mother is usually the best thing to have as your leader, as your manager. Yeah. Because I'm thinking she's going to look at the nurturing part, the emotion, and she's going to combine it with also, the professional bit as well. Yes. She's going to combine it with the technical bit as well. And there's nothing as wonderful as being grown as a person and also grown in your technicalities as well. Yeah.
So there are pluses if we had more women in the industry, if they were actually allowed to. I don't say allowed to, because they have the equal opportunities that a man receives. Yes. But then there are just these little things that have them stopping in places, which is unfortunate. But given that we have this particular month has been set aside to say, you know what, when it comes to technology, innovations, women have a space for it. Yeah. But a woman like you who's making it, I would say, pushing for young minds to get to know about tech. Let's go into that discussion now and have a conversation about the tech evangelist that's Isabel. Mm-hmm. What do you tell the young mind? How do you empower those minds?
So someone was telling, I read somewhere yesterday and someone said, let's stop using the word empower. Mm-hmm. It's more of a media thing. But anyway, so what I usually tell them is find your niche. The same way, they usually tell people who are bringing new products into a market, find your niche, see if it works for you. And if it does, go for it. It's not always easy, really. So you have to put in the work. You really have to put in the work, especially if it's what you want. And sky is the limit, really. You can achieve anything that you want to if you really set your mind to it. Yeah. All you have to do is show up and give it a shot and try. And it won't happen in a fortnight. You have to keep trying and trying until you find that until it works for you. Yeah. Yeah. Never give up.
It's easy to say never give up, but do you sometimes look back and you'll take a look at the minds that you have been able to empower? Now we're putting it in quotes because you're saying it's not the befitting term, but do you find that maybe some along the way just drop out of it, and why do they?
I think, you remember when we were having a chat about what I like about guys? Yeah. And how daring they are, and... Are we allowed to swear? It's going to be on.
Yeah,
we can't swear. We can't swear.
Yeah.
Okay. but can I use like 2 letters?
Okay, yeah, you can use 2 letters.
Okay. And how I like how they can BS you into getting something. And somehow we as women sometimes we get timid when it comes to making moves on things. And a guy, on the other hand, what I admire, he's daring. He'll look at a role and he can only accomplish maybe 40% of the role, but he's not going to say, no, I'm not going to do it. I mean, it looks really good. What?
I have to get this
Yeah,
opportunity.
he'll call his friends who maybe are doing a similar role or maybe work at the company where he's trying to go. And he will learn about it, at least for that beginning part, just to get his way in. So he'll BS his way in and then eventually like take it on and like grow and groom himself and get better at it. I think as women, we need to be more daring. We need to be able to push ourselves even more. And we need to remind ourselves that these guys who are feeling are going further ahead of us, we sat in the same classes with them. We sat in class with you. We did the same examinations. For some of them, we actually even did better than you, you know? And so you need to keep on going. Some of them maybe have not had people to push them. They don't have people to look up to. Maybe they've not, they don't have maybe mentors, or they've not been in an environment where it's okay for them to keep trying and not give up, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you are a lady who's daring. I know from the as you're encouraging the ladies, when we take a look at the things you have done, the things that you have started as the founder of the Uganda Network of Operators Group, the summit, that wasn't something that you just got up and did in a moment.
No.
Take us through the process of how it came to be and what inspired you.
Okay, so UGNOG, Uganda Network Operators Group, is a diversion from the African Network Operators Group. The African Network Operators Group, I have been a trainer for. I'd been a trainer for a while. I'd also I'd also been a part of as a participant, and I had seen what I had achieved through it. I had most of my growth started when I joined the African Network Operators Group. I'd learned so much. I'd met with special people within tech that I used to admire, you know, people that I'd love to have been associated with, people who'd written code for applications that I was now using. They were all there. And I was learning from them. These were people within the industry, and these are people who are actually practicing what it is that I had wanted to be learning. And it's not someone who you would get as a teacher, but yet he's not practiced. You know, we have some schools where, you know, the teacher has not even practiced a single thing.
There's no experience that he's talking
whatsoever.
about.
Yeah. So I was learning from people within the industry, and I was very happy about it. And then I was also invited to be one of the trainers as well for UGNOG. And I was very thrilled about it, and I thought it was quite fascinating. You're meeting all these young techies from across Africa, and you're working with technical experts from across the world to pass on knowledge, to skill these people. And you know, would attend these meetings, and then you come back home and you're thinking, there's some people who are at home who would have also loved to go and who would have loved to like learn as well and benefit as much as I did. So we need to start the Uganda Network Operators Group.
Yeah.
If we can also bring some of those people and have them attend here and also impart the knowledge, as well and have these people grow, it would be nice. So I was attending a conference, I think towards the end of 2019, and I met one of my friends now. And I was telling him, listen, I want to set up the Uganda Network Operators Group. And he says, easy, no problem. When you get home, ping me, and I'll help you get it started. Whatever you need, I got you. And so I get home, and January, I give him a call. And I say, does your offer still stand? He says, of course. So he says, okay, so you're going to need this, you're going to need this, you're going to need this. I said, okay, is that all I need? He says, yes. Then you're also going to need a team to work with. And then you need to set a date right now. I said, what do you mean set a date? They said, yeah, you need to set a date and put it on. We have, there's this calendar that we go to for all the tech events happening globally. He said, you need to go and set a date on that calendar. When you set the date there, then you know it's official. It's going to happen. So whatever it takes, you have to make sure that it works out. So then I called two other friends of mine that had worked on NOGs in their countries. One worked on the Southern Africa NOG, and then the other worked on the Kenya NOG. We had a chat, and they said, we'll help you.
Okay.
These are ladies, by the way. Just an FYI, these are ladies.
Good on the women. Good on the women.
Yeah. So we sat down. We planned. We planned to have it physical, and so we also looked at who we would want to have as our sponsors. We reached out to guys within the community. What I really like about this specific community, and I'm talking about the internet community, there's a way. Everybody looks at each other as almost as family. Let's look out for each other. Let's help each other. It doesn't matter whether we are competitors or not. Let's look out for each other. So I called a couple of them and I said, listen, I'm looking for sponsorship for UGNOG. I said, yeah, how much do you want? I said, we got you. What support do you need? Do you have this? Do you have that? I'm like, this I have, this I don't have. Okay, we'll sort you out on that. And so we planned, we looked at what we wanted to achieve for that UGNOG. We looked at what message we wanted to put out as well, the audience that we wanted to target. And so we started planning our first UGNOG. And I even said for me success would be if we had 50 people turn up.
How many turned up?
We had over 100 people show up.
So you dared to dream.
Yes.
Yeah.
And because of the pandemic, we ended up having it virtual. And the thing about having a virtual event is you're not so sure if people are going to come. And it was at a point where guys were now tired of having anything virtual. So that's why I said, you know what, if we get 50 people,
it's enough.
It's enough for me. That will be success for me.
But how has it evolved over the years now? Some that said, out of only I have 50, if only there are 50. What is it looking like now?
So now, so last year we had our very first physical event, but we also wanted to have a workshop where we get to a skilling workshop as well, which was one of the main reasons why we started UGNOG in the first place, to be able to skill the young minds within tech, to be able to empower them.
It's okay. The word is there. Let us empower them.
to build them.
Yeah.
And so we had a technical workshop, fully hands-on. We got experts within the industry. Still, we insisted on having experts within the industry. Doing the skilling. Then we also had a annual conference. Still part of that, the conference, we also had a skilling. We had a skilling day as well, and I liked that all the engineers that attended were very excited about what was there, and some of them were saying this is not stuff that you easily find on the internet. This is not stuff that you will easily find at the workplace. And I like that this is what we are getting from you. Can we have more of these? How do we make this more of a forum and not only wait for when we have these technical workshops or when we have the conferences. So we created a forum for them. We have a mailing list. We also have a Telegram group, Tech is Live Telegram. So we have a Telegram group where guys get to share stuff. Someone's having issues at work and trying to resolve something. Someone will probably give them a solution to it. I installed blah, 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 and I'm having trouble with it. Does anybody know I could fix it? You know, someone on the group is going to come in and help sort them out. If there are opportunities within the industry, they also put on the forum as well. So keep a discussion going within the community. So I'm happy with the way things are going so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As I listen, I'm hearing that there's a huge need for skilling, right?
Yeah.
And is this something that people should go ahead to? Is it go back to school and learn? Are these some of things that you learn on the job when it comes to tech? What is it like, and where do they find these opportunities when it comes? How do they approach UGNOG?
So they don't have to go back to school. You don't have to go back to school to do this. All you need is to find people within the industry to help you improve on whatever it is that you want to. There's so many people who are willing to do it. Even the guys that we get to come and do the skilling, they do this voluntarily. They're not paid. We don't pay them. UGNOG is not a business.
Yeah.
So people are always willing to help. People are looking to skill the next best engineer because it's very fulfilling to say, you know what, I did that. This guy is excelling. I did that. So there are people out there that are always willing to help with that. Even in the workplace, all you have to do is ask. Yeah.
Now, I just want to get a bit personal with you here. You mentioned earlier that, when you attended the Africa NOG, you found the people that you wanted to meet, you looked up to. Are there some, 3 ladies, dead or alive, that if you had the chance, you'd just like to have a few minutes with them and have some dinner?
Okay.
Yeah.
So these are none of these people are technical people. For some reason. None of them.
Okay.
So all these people that I was telling you about, none of them was a lady, unfortunately. But I'm happy that now we're getting more ladies that are now joining the trainers at AFNOG. I'm happy that now it's getting more diverse. There's less men now. But among the people that I look up to, I would like to sit and have dinner with. If I could have dinner with myself, I would be one of them.
All right. Top of the list.
I would, because I'd like to say I'm very happy with how far I've come. I need to say I'm proud of myself more often.
Yeah.
Because you know how they say it's always good and important that we are our own inspiration. It always starts from within ourselves. We always have this person within ourselves that pushes us to let's say, dream bigger, be more daring, show up for the podcast.
Yeah. Dream. Yeah.
Dare to dream.
Yeah.
So if I were to choose myself, I'd be one of them.
Okay.
However, my three,
I think we should just go with that as you are. You're one. Now you have to work with. Let's just say you'd like to have dinner with you and tell yourself you're proud of what you've achieved.
So Alicia Montano, she's an athlete. She's an Olympian. She's done the 800-meter race for the USA. She has won 6 championships. Alicia runs with a flower in her hair. And she started running with that flower in her hair because she used to compete with guys a lot. And she wore that flower in her hair to remind them that, hey, while this might seem like your thing, let me remind you that I'm a girl
And I'm doing
and
it.
I'm doing better than you.
Yeah.
I'm doing it and I'm doing it better than you. Just to remind you. So she
In case you forget, I am a woman.
Yes, in case you forget.
Yeah.
Yes. What I loved and what I picked from that was you don't have to move from your identity in order to fit in. Yes, the tech world is normally seen as the men's world.
Yeah. But things are changing.
Exactly. And so you even find some ladies dressed up like dudes
Yeah.
because, I'm among the dudes, so I dress up like the dudes.
Like I have to fit in and just
Exactly. I'm blending.
Yeah, blend in.
But why do
actually.
you have to?
Yeah.
So I liked that. I liked what I read from it, and it's also partly because of what I said, wearing heels more often. Please excuse that I'm wearing trainers today. But yes, I liked that about her. We're competing with guys, and I'm doing better than you most of the time. And let me remind you that I'm a lady.
Yeah.
One other thing I also loved about her is 2 of her races she did while pregnant.
Okay.
One while 8 months pregnant, the other while 5 months pregnant. She obviously didn't really win the race, but
she was
still
a
showed up
part
and
of the
did it.
race. Yeah.
Yes. And to me, that showed sky is the limit. You are your biggest cheerleader. You are your biggest. You're the only person that would create a barrier for yourself.
Yeah. It's all in your mind.
Yes,
What you
exactly.
tell your mind.
Yeah. My second is the late Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She was a member of the Supreme Court, still in the U.S., unfortunately.
It's okay. That's where you were.
Yeah, so she was the first female to sit. First female member of the Supreme Court. Normally 9 members, and she was. She pushed so much for gender equality and advocated for women's rights. And because during her time, she died in 2020, September 18. During her time, starting her career, it was a time when women were not really allowed in the workplace. The specific jobs that they couldn't do. Women were not allowed to either be lawyers or be in tech. Those were seen as roles for men. And even after she had graduated at law school, she found it very hard to get a job because she was a woman. And also because she was a mother as well. So what I loved so much about her is throughout her career, she did not stop pushing for gender equality. And one other thing I also really liked about her is she did not only push for gender equality, she looked at fairness. She looked at fairness for both women and men.
Yeah.
She looked at situations where, when a man's wife dies, when a woman's husband dies, she's given support. But when the man's wife
passes,
he
doesn't get any support.
Exactly. And she said, why should that be the case?
They were both, it's a partner at the end of the day. You've lost a partner.
So I like that she looked at fairness. I like that she was fair. Most times when you find women that are advocating for women, they usually say that they hate men. And some people even mistake what a feminist is.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate that about her. And also I liked that she showed what it's like to make use of emotion as a leader, how to tackle emotion, which also made me feel comfortable with my small secret that I use as my key in being a good leader. One of
Which
my
is?
secrets, which is love.
So you lead with love.
So it sounds a bit, some people find it a bit off, but
How?
I don't know, like when you start talking about like, saying love, like really. So I always thought it's always good to love. Love what you do. Love your team. And when you choose to love your team as a leader, your team will do anything for you. Anything. Think about it. Think of home. If your husband loves you so much, you're going to make sure his meal is ready at all times.
You're happy as you do these things because of the love that has been given to you. Yeah.
Exactly. And even the very difficult people within your team, love those ones even more, because they'll cringe a little bit and you're like, oh my God, this person is doing all these things for me and loving me so much. Why am I being like this? And also when you choose to love what you do as well, it pushes you to want to see things improve, wanting to do better, wanting to be better, wanting to see others grow. So yes, so that has always been my key, my secret.
Okay.
When it comes to leadership. Yeah.
And that brings me to the question about what power looks like for you in the tech industry.
So when you choose to say, I want to be powerful, especially in tech, you need to remind yourself that tech is evolving. There's something new coming up every day. There's new technologies every day. There's new trends every day. People are figuring out how to do things differently every day. So you have to keep up with the trends if you want to stay number one. If you want to be the most powerful, if you want to keep at the top, you need to make sure that you keep up with the trends. Yeah.
Well, I think that's as simple as it can possibly get. If there's someone who's waking up every day and thinking, if I'm going to do something in tech, I want to be powerful, keep up with the trends. That's requiring you to do a lot of reading and a lot of learning and unlearning, relearning and learning.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, this is the point. You've sort of given it as advice, but I would like you to give a listener or a viewer of the podcast who is like, that's a space I want to be in. That's a career move that I want to make. What kind of advice would you give them if they wanted to join the tech industry? To the woman and the man, the boy or girl.
Okay. Tech is fun. These days we're seen as the cool kids. In the past we weren't.
At first you were what? Geeks or the what? By the way, it has changed over time.
Has.
Yeah.
Yes.
It has.
In the past, even making friends was hard. But now, now we're seen as the cool kids. But that should not be why you should join.
It's more to just the cool kid that you see.
Yeah. Yes. So, tech is evolving. There is everything for everyone within tech. Tech is huge as well. Yeah. And also, everything is now moving digital as well. So find what you're passionate about, see how tech can play a role in it, and see if it works for you as well. Yeah. And show up, like I'd say. All you have to do is show up. Show up.
Let the opportunity meet you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Show up. Ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. There's lots of people out there that are willing to help. And for the women, be daring. Let's be daring. Yeah. Let's be more daring.
Okay.
Yeah. For the guys, keep at it.
Yeah.
Keep up, Patty.
Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a good job. Ladies, let's dare.
Keep bearing, dear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we're getting into the interesting part of the podcast. It has a bit of pressure to it, and we'd like to know a few things about you. Yeah. So it's 3 questions. First thing that comes to your mind once I ask you the question. Let's go, right?
Okay.
First question. What is the one thing you're scared of the most in nature? Could be an animal.
No. For me, well, not necessarily nature, because I really love nature. So there's nothing that scares me when it comes to nature, but I'm afraid of heights.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are some things you wouldn't do because of that fear?
I wouldn't look down a staircase. So when you go up the building, the fire escape.
Yeah. When you're at the top and
when
you
you're at
look
the
down
top and then you look down. Yeah.
through all the flights of stairs. Okay, that's just a bit scary.
I tried to hike a mountain, but that was like the hardest experience I've ever been through.
Did you get to the top?
No, I didn't. I got a panic attack at some point, and I said I wanted to come back down.
And you just left the team and just came back down?
I came back down. I was like, no, it's not worth it. But
So,
because we got to a cliff, and there was a makeshift ladder, and you had to find your way of. You had to cross with that makeshift ladder. And it was like
the other
slanting like this.
you're like,
There's
what
a
if we
cliff, and then
fall?
I look down, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing this.
Okay, I understand. Even I would say that, but then I'd be thinking, what about the team? We should stay at all, but I hear
They'll
you.
find their way.
Yeah. With nature, since you're a lover of nature, what's that one place in Uganda that you love and you'd want to go, or you have gone multiple times?
I liked. I've been to many.
Multiple times?
Murchison Falls.
Okay.
I love Murchison Falls.
Okay. Why?
I like the roar of the falls. I like how there's a beauty with it. When you pay much attention, especially if it's a sunny day, and
the falls.
the falls, yeah, and then sometimes it forms a rainbow.
I've seen it a number of times. Is it the rainbow that you see? It's so beautiful.
Exactly.
It's so calming.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, nature did this.
Yeah.
This is nature. It's quiet. The air is nice. You're looking at the falls and how strong they sound if you pay close attention.
Like if you're quiet, like sometimes you go as a group, but if you have a
and
chance to
everybody's
go there,
loud, but you want to be by yourself and like fully like indulge yourself with the nature. Yeah.
oh, you are really a nature's person. So if you want to know what she's talking about, take time, invest in some domestic tourism. Please save up your money and go. It's something you can all achieve, even if you have a low budget. It's possible. And the last question, you travel.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
What's that one thing you always carry from Uganda on your travels? If you try and see.
I always, that that hat that women like to wear, the one that
bonnet?
looks very unattractive.
Is it the bonnet?
Yes.
Yeah,
That
okay.
one.
So you always carry one of those.
That's what I always carry with me
Yeah.
from Uganda.
Do you ever
Yeah.
miss anything about Uganda on your travels?
Yes.
What?
Borders.
Okay. that's such a first. I've not had anyone say that. Sometimes they're like, oh, thank God we don't have that here.
No, I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
So I work from home, and I spend most of my time at home as well. I'm an indoorsy person. So I like it when everything comes to me.
Yeah.
Right. From my nails guy to even the masseuse. I need shopping to be done. I have an errand. These are all things that can be done by a border guy.
Yeah.
You want to dash to the supermarket real quick to pick up something. The border guy will do that for you. You don't have to go yourself. You want to move from one place to another, like real quick, without any any issue, your border guy is got it for you as well, especially if you don't want to drive. Like if I was coming to town on a very busy day, I would prefer to take a border. I wouldn't drive. I'll leave my car at home. So I usually miss borders. You know, when you're sitting in the hotel and you're like,
I have to do this.
I would have sent a border to do this for me. Man, I need to go and pick up this. Oh my goodness, I would have sent a border. That's when so I really miss borders when I'm away from home.
Okay, when you put it that way, it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of
then when you
sense.
come back and then you look at that and then you get onto the streets.
Or till
and
you
they're
drive.
trying to knock you.
Till you're the one who's driving. You're like, yo.
Yeah. So borders are what I miss the most when I'm not at home.
To you that's listening and watching, if it were you, if I asked you what you miss about Uganda, would borders be top on your list? Anyway, Isabel, that brings us to the end of the Ugandan podcast.
Yeah, thank you.
So
thank you
for this particular episode, not for the entire podcast.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you for coming,
Thank you
being a
too.
part of it, for encouraging women to dare to dream. That is one thing that I'm taking with me. But there's so many other things that you have mentioned. And I know for the person who has listened or watched, it should be something you should be sharing with other people. So share, subscribe if you have not yet subscribed. And also that notification bell is there for a reason, so you know what to do. Yeah. From us to you, we're saying till the next episode, keep it Ugandan.
Thank you so much. Rita.
You're welcome. Thank you, Isabel. It's done. Cheers. Cheers. Please.